Hi, everyone. This is Candy Johnson. I am your host. This is Real Talk, brought to you by Real Raw Records. Today's topic is legendary movement. And if you're wondering what the legendary movement is and what it consists of, the legendary movement is a movement generated um, for a legacy, building a legacy, and it was started by Real Raw Records. We started the movement, and we call it a movement because it entails more than just an event, or should I say, a temporal or one-time event, and that's what a movement is. A movement requires that there be, first of all, a purpose, and also a goal intended. So, and our goal is to create a legacy of love, and also to establish a group of people who have oneness in mind and are united in the purpose of making a difference in our society and in our world. And so there are a lot of movements that have sparked over the history of time. And some of those movements died out because perhaps the leaders passed away. All right. And then you have some movements that are still they're still building momentum, because I believe it's truly because it had substance to that movement. I said all that to say this, leading up to talking a little bit about Anonymous. I became very curious about Anonymous after seeing a very touching video about a gentleman by the name of Aaron Swartz. And I was very touched by that. So I began to research Anonymous. And in my research, of course, I found some good things about them and I found some bad things. Their beginning, I would consider to be not so good of a beginning, because they started out just being nuisance, what they call trolls here online. And so at some point, because they don't specifically have a leader of the Anonymous, it's just the movement. Okay, they don't really have a leader, nobody orchestrating what's going on, what's acceptable, what's not, and stuff like that. They really don't have any type of mission. It appears to be the main structure of their movement, of the Anonymous movement, is kind of a renegade vigilante sort of movement. All right. The only thing, now they're doing some positive things, so I've heard. I haven't actually seen a lot of positive things being done. I'm be honest now. I'm just being honest. I'm not speaking against Anonymous. Some of the members have a very positive active, activists. So they do have some positive purposes, some of the members of Anonymous, because anybody, according to this unorganized organization, anybody can be a part of the movement. Okay. And so what I've noticed is that the people that think that anonymous is about something positive, well, they latch on to the positive things or the positive aspects of anonymous. And the people that are just kind of renegade vigilantes or have their hidden agendas, they tend to latch on to the negative part of wanting to hack into people's computers and into their websites, and they've even gone so far as to get people's personal information and disperse it for their own personal gain. All right. So those are some of the dangers of not having a specific purpose or a specific leader to say what's acceptable and what's not. Okay. So, but, and I just want to compare and contrast the legendary movement. One, we're doing some awesome and wonderful things, so we don't have to hide our faces or be anonymous. This is a type of movement that you can certainly, the legendary movement is a type of movement that you can certainly be proud of. You know, you can tell your children about, you know, I was a part of this movement and be proud of it, you know. And there are some people that are proud of being a part of Anonymous. And, you know, because they have perhaps some good intentions. All right. That's fine. I'm not saying that Anonymous is bad. All right. But the legendary movements, we have a specific purpose, and it's a purpose of honor and integrity. All right. So, and it's a standard of integrity that is the underlying characteristic of this movement. So there's no need to hide or wear a mask. It's just something that you can be very proud of. Even some of these elitist groups, I saw some Freemasons or whatever you call them on Facebook. And one guy, he posts consistently their symbols and all this kind of stuff. But there are a lot of things about that group that are very secretive, okay? And for the reason is secretive is because when people try to hide stuff, all right, I'm not saying the Freemason specifically, I'm just saying that, for example, you know, Freemasonry and Anonymous, you got all these groups, when they trying to hide certain things, it kind of leads me to believe that the reason you hiding it is you must know there's something wrong about it. All right. I said all that to say this. You know, people need to give some thought into what they put their time and efforts into if you really care about making a difference in life. This is the reason that I stopped practicing the Christian religion, is because I give thought to my actions and what I contribute to. All right. I even stopped, another good example, I stopped indulging in some of the broadcasts here online because I saw it was no productive or positive fruits or purposes coming from indulging or associating myself with certain people. All right. I'm not saying I'm better than nobody, but I'm certainly different. All right. And if you feel like you want to make a difference in life, there are certain things that you can't indulge in order to be different. You got to do something different. All right. It's insane to think that you can do the same thing over and over and get different results. All right. This is a simple form of insanity. All right. And in this movement, the legendary movement, we endeavor to make a difference, be different, not better than, but certainly different. And sometimes to really effect change, all it takes is to be a little different. To be a little different, you know. And so that's what we're really about. There are certain, from what I've noticed from people that I really respect. My grandmother was a legendary woman, and just lived a lifestyle of love. Yes, she had faults, but she left a legacy of love. And it was funny. I was here in Jersey, and I just randomly met somebody, and the person said, "Are you Joanne King's daughter?" And just out of the blue, because she recognized it. She said, "Are you Joanne King's daughter?" I said, "No, I'm her granddaughter." She said, "I could tell." It's just something about the characteristics. There's a kinship there, all right, when you have the certain characteristics that are known and very prevalent, all right. And from what I've known throughout history, in seeing a pattern of people that really lived a legacy type of lifestyle, I've seen a pattern of characteristics. And one thing was, they stood out from the crowd. They were different in some type of way. All right. And they were peculiar, very peculiar people. All right. Tend to leave legacies. And so you have to ask yourself if you really feel that you are a born leader, or that you was created and destined to do something great. You have to ask yourself, are you a part of the crowd and just like everybody else? Or is it something really different about you? All right. What I noticed about Anonymous, they had a lot of videos that different people that I'm subscribed to their channel, or they're in my circles on Google. From what I noticed, that for the majority of the videos, it's a lot of negative stuff. All right, lots of negative stuff. All right. And that raises questions for me. I don't know about you, but that raises questions for me. When people are perpetuating hate and vengeful activity, all right. So that would be something that I would want to, that I would be proud to be a part of, simply because I don't indulge in trying to be vengeful and take revenge on people. I believe in forgiving, not associating myself. If it's that bad, then I just don't associate, share it with it, or building something positive to counteract. Now, it's one thing if they were just basically pointing out that, hey, we got some problems in our society, all right, and they were providing some positive solutions. But what I noticed about Anonymous, and perhaps they're just in a development stage of their movement still. So because from what I've seen, their movement is always evolving. So I want to keep that take that into consideration. But from what I've noticed is because they don't have a leader, they don't have anyone to stand up and say, well, everybody's in agreement with this is not right, okay? But they don't have a positive counter offer, you know. You gotta give me a counter offer, you know. If you saying I don't accept what you dishing out, well then what's your counter offer then? You know, suck it. And so that's my main issue with the anonymous movement. But like I said, they are in an evolving movement, and so perhaps they're just in the development stage of their movement, so they decide what they're going to do and how they're going to go about doing it. But I will say this, as far as I can see, with all the negative stuff, that's definitely not a movement in the right direction. I see a lot of posts just bashing Obama. It seemed to be steering people one way. Now, if you're saying we should have the right to think and make up our own minds about stuff, well, why are you steering people to just hate Obama? Obama doesn't make up our whole government. And so that raises some questions, not just because it's Obama, but because you're steering a whole system, of action and steering hatred towards one person when the governmental system is flawed, not just this one person. Obama, matter of fact, Obama will be out of office soon. What point does it make to bash him? He's almost out of office. Whatever you don't like about him will be over soon. What is the point in this? I just don't get it. It just don't make sense. I'll just be honest with you, baby. It just don't make sense, huh? All right. Another thing, I see a lot of hateful posts towards law enforcement. Okay, we're steering people to rebel against law enforcement or to hate police officers, when the truth of the matter is that just as with any group of people or any organization, you got good people there and you got bad people there. So I think it's wrong to incite people towards hatred towards law enforcement when there's some good people in law enforcement, and I know them personally. That's how I know. You know, I know them personally. I've had officers that I don't know personally that did some really honorable things for me. You know, so I just got a problem when people group people together and villainize them. All right. And that goes for blacks, gays, police, whatever, you know. It's just wrong to do that. I don't think it's fair. I like to be fair, you know. Call me a wuss if you wanna. A wuss I'll be, but I like to be fair because I believe in being legendary. That's all for now, but in the meantime, in between time, as always, I tell you, keep it real or take your ass back to fantasy land.